Hey YouTube, Electric Adventures here with the next video in my series A to Z of My MSX Collection, where basically I'm going through all of the letters A to Z and picking a game that's in my physical MSX collection. Now the reason why I'm picking the games are usually based on nostalgia, or just one that I like playing lots. A large amount of them will be MSX1 games, or mainly because I don't have a lot of MSX2 games. And a lot of the MSX2 games I've only got in my recent collecting history. Doesn't mean that some of those games will actually pip some of the other games. Also like to clarify some rules. Anything with super in front of it I count as the next word is the thing that defines the letter. Otherwise S is going to turn out, it's going to be bad enough as it is when we get to S. But in this particular episode we are after the letter K. And the letter K is bad enough, let me tell you. I've gone through my collection and every single one of the games in this pile here I like. Let's start out with so these I'll do these first three all are great games, but didn't make the final, what I call the final three list. The first one is Nighttime. This is a game produced by Mastertronics, converted across multiple systems. Sorry, a bit of glare there. It's a game akin to Manic Miner, where you have to go around and collect objects, although it's more like Jet Set Willy in the fact that you have a defined maze and set of rooms, whereas Manic Miner was progressing from one place to the other. Pixel perfect, with slightly larger characters, music that plays the entire time while you're playing the game, so there's not one of those ones that you probably have to turn the volume down after a time when you play it, but it's actually got a little bit deeper gameplay. You can pick up and drop objects, you can only carry one at a time, and use objects to perform certain tasks. It's a game in a series, and I've had this game for a long time. Tape games were about the only things I could afford back in the day. So the next thing, and this is actually probably one of the most expensive games I owned for the MSX for me, back in the day, and I only got it because I managed to get, can't remember exactly whether I splashed out for a birthday or something like that, but it's actually a collection of 3 games under the thing of Night Orc, and they're actually adventure games, so text adventures with graphics. Now of course the screenshots on the back are extremely misleading, because they're for the Atari ST or Amiga on the back. So they used the same box for all of them and then just had a sticker over the, you can feel that's a sticker saying which system it is. I don't think I've played this for a very long time, but back in the day I played it a lot. I'm just seeing whether I shouldn't see, it's 3 cassette tapes, so a cassette tape for each of the adventure games, and they're very good adventure games. You get rendered graphics at each scene, and it's all, you know, north, south, east, west, and look and examine, and you know, kill orc and things like that. And I loved those sort of games back in the day. Do not have time to play them, although I will say, on a nostalgic note, I've discovered the Infogrames app on my iPad, and I've actually been playing all of the Infogrames games all the way from the start. I'm still playing Zork 1 at the moment, haven't quite finished it. But yeah, text adventures, really nicely presented package, and probably one of the most expensive games I ever bought for the MSX back in the day. But has to be cut from the list, unfortunately. Now another one is one that I haven't had for an extremely long amount of time, but it was one of the first games that I picked up when I started collecting MSX games again. So it's probably about, so I'm just doing timelines in my head, it's probably about 6 or 7 years ago, and I got it with some other games, and I didn't think I could play it because I thought it had too much. I just thought it was an adventure game, and I didn't actually exactly know what it was. It was in a lot. I do know it's called King Kong 2, that's why it's under K, and it is actually, I mean, it is an adventure game, but it is quite playable. It's an action adventure game. It is really colourful. I mean, it is for the MSX2. It's the only MSX2 title in this pile that I've picked up. and it plays really well. I have done a video on it. If I remember, I'll try and put a link down to it below. But it is actually well worth playing. There's actually a Famicom version as well. I'm not 100% sure if I have it yet. I know I've seen it on several option things, and I can't remember whether I've got it yet. But it actually plays really well, and it is playable with the kanji text, but there is a patch for it as well, so a translated patch, so you can play it all through in English. I haven't got very far in it though, because it's actually quite hard, but it's a good game. All right, now down to our bottom three. So these last three, I will put them up in. I'll put them up, and I'll put a bit of. I've done a gameplay of each of them, and captured a bit of footage just so you can see. Now the next one, sorry, I didn't have my notepad and thing, is called Kenji no Ishi. So it does come with a K, or Stone of Wisdom is its other name. So I've snuck another one out of this, but I have unlucky to have a really good condition copy of this, and it's a wonderful little game. I'll show you those screenshots there, and I mean the cartridge is in immaculate condition, and it's a very Zelda-like looking game. The idea is you have to work your way up the tower, going level room by room, and working your way all the way to the top to get to the treasure. And it's an action game. It plays great music all the way through. Can get a little repetitive after a while because it is the same music, but it's got enough variety in it to not send you completely crazy. But it's a really fun game. So you know, it's got lots of action in there. Doesn't the Japanese language that's in there doesn't form a barrier at all to playing the game. So highly recommended. Slightly harder game to get. I mean, there are copies around, but it can get expensive. So the next two, it was a fight between which one I would pick in the end, but this one just didn't quite make it. So King's Valley, this is another game that we had in the store that I used to work in back in the day. It was a game I played on the MSX. I was much better at it back then than I am now, which is probably why it hasn't made the cut, because if I did a proper gameplay of this, I probably wouldn't get very far. It shows I need to play it more. So it's a multi-screen platform puzzle game, very much akin to Lode Runner, which I like in a way, because you have to dig and work out what to do in what order. You can only carry one thing at once. You can't jump. I don't think. Yeah, you can't jump while you're carrying something. If you do, you throw the thing that's in your hand. There is a knife which, when you throw, will kill one of the enemies, and a pickaxe, or various pickaxes. You can only use pickaxe once and then they disappear. So you've really got to plan where you're going to dig to get all of the jewels and move on to the next stage. There's actually a sequel, King's Valley 2, which I've never played. And never seen a copy of either. That's one of the MSX games that goes for a lot of money. So a really good game, especially if you like, you know, single screen or puzzle games. But the game that I have to pick in K, because it is one of my absolute favourite games on the MSX, and would make any top 10 that I ever made on the MSX, and that is Knightmare. I had a loose copy of this for quite a long time, and have recently upgraded it with this box. The box isn't perfect, and I still don't have the instruction manual. So what I did, I took my cartridge, which was in pretty good condition, took the cartridge in here, which is still in okay condition, switched them around, and upgraded to get a box copy recently. So without further ado, let's go give this one a go. Alright, so here we go with Knightmare. Which at the end of the day is one of the early games that I had back in the day. Well, I mean, I didn't own a copy, but played back in the day for the MSX. So I would have played on a store copy. And it's a shoot 'em up, so, and it's a different sort of shoot 'em up. Obviously, a vertical scrolling. Of course, MSX, you know, 8-pixel scrolling does annoy some people, but it doesn't really detract from the gameplay. oops, collecting the black P is not going to upgrade properly. So you basically hit these tiles to reveal various things. I haven't actually played it for a little while, so I can't remember. So dark blue destroys everything on the screen. Light blue just gives you a bonus. Right, let's deal with these guys. Right, so dark blue here. Oh, I'm not 100% sure what that one gives you, but eventually we will get a weapon upgrade one. So at the moment we're just firing arrows. And the things that really impressed me about this game, was the fact it's playing music the whole time. The bats have a shadow on the ground. There we go, twin arrows. You shoot it and you get a different weapon each time you shoot it. Oh well, this one, that's the reds pause the screen so you can mop the enemies up. There's some different enemies coming along now, our first change. And just simple things like, it's using multiple sprites over each other to have multicoloured sprites, basically. And all of the, early Konami games use some of this technique. I didn't change weapons, so I will promise I will. So we'll go red again. That just allows us to get that. Go down and collect that. That's a way of collecting that one. Just got to wait for the timer to tick down now. And even though I'm probably not going to play that brilliantly, hopefully I should be able to get to you to see the first boss. Okay, so white one makes us invisible, which gives us invulnerability for the timer that you can see ticking down. Now we have flaming arrows, which do more damage. That's our bonus is about to run out. So obviously you'll get formation bonuses. So these flaming arrows actually do more damage. Now light blue gives us a shield in front of us, which is quite good. Use the dark blue one to clear off those things, so I can go grab the extra one there. And as you notice, we're killing those guys quite easily. Oops, missed. Now that shield only gives you protection from the front, so you've got to be careful that you don't misjudge. Now, on to our next one. Okay, so now we are invincible in anything we touch for the time period we kill. So you just got to keep an eye on the timer. Don't worry about the bullets. Okay, it's running out now. The most dangerous period. And you do go back to the previous weapon, which is good. Oops. Oh! I accidentally shot it just before I grabbed it then, so I ended up with the same weapon. But you have boomerang, you have three-way shot. I am cheating a little bit here. I do have an auto fire on this particular joystick, which is my arcade stick. Now we're coming up to the first boss, which as you can see is character based. It's going down with the background. And does not take much to kill when you've got this particular weapon, so it was a good choice. On to stage 2. And like a lot of these games, the levels have different styles, music. get flying pigs. Look at the big gargoyles. Who knows? We'll watch those guys because they're coming at an angle, and there we go. These ones, we're shooting them and they're actually becoming something impassable. So you do have to be careful, and it doesn't provide you any cover. Nope, not going to get those ones, too dangerous. Go for the invincibility for a little while. Gets us some bonuses. Oh, unfortunately you miss out on those. I can't remember what the clouds do. Okay, shoot them and they come down and get you. Oh, ah, and you got me just on the arm. So it, you know, it got past the shield. Okay, I'll go with a different weapon just to show you. Not that. It's not my favourite weapon. This one. Got those clouds. You've got to watch them. This is our last life. I'm not selecting that weapon again. Let's go for the boomerang. Oh, and I got myself killed without demonstrating the second boss. Oh, anyway. Alright, as you can see, it's quite an entertaining game and well worth playing on the MSX. If you don't have an MSX, grab an emulator like Blue MSX or Open MSX and give it a go. Definitely worth playing, and one of my absolute favourite games would be in a top 10 of MSX games for me. Alright, hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode.